Alright, I'm just down in our new Hobart store that we're just fitting out, so we're taking the opportunity to have a look at a Cascade screen, one of our Cascade screens. We're not going to be doing it from a DIY perspective. We're actually doing it from the perspective of just showing people the intricacies of the specific screen, and we're going to do this with a lot that we're putting on display. So what I mean there is, I am not going to be going through how to use a level. We're not going to be going through waterproofing. Where we're putting the item is on a display plinth, so that, for instance, we're not going through tiles. That's wallpaper at the back. So we're not going to be showing you how we would silicon behind channels and the like. This is purely just to show you the intricacies of this specific screen. I will say here that we do recommend qualified installers or experienced installers. If we go to our mission statements, we have this here at every store, and we also have just 4 points down there that normally all make sure that you don't get yourself into trouble. And the only one in red here is that we inspect all products with your installer prior to the start of work. And why we say that is a couple of reasons. Is one, make sure installers have qualified and competent installers have vast knowledge about them. They'll be able to tell you whether or not the actual screen you've got will fulfil what you need. It also brings out any mistakes. For instance, if you're looking at the screen on the day before it's going in, or before the work's about to go in and it's black and you thought it was chrome, well, you've just saved yourself a lot of grief. And the other one is damages and the like, obvious damages and the like can be picked up at that point. And we can do most things given a couple of days. We can't if it's on a Sunday before Christmas when you've got visitors turning up. So, you know, we look at it that way. If we come to this screen set is a 2-box setup. And you see here, we've just opened them up and we can see that they're chrome, that all the parts look right, there's no dents on boxes. That's what we're expecting. So that's what we're trying to get to at this point. I go back to the fact that the screen installation can only ever be as good as what you're working with, and in this case we're working with a display plinth, so it's not completely perfect because, well, I'm not completely perfect, and to tell you the truth, I'm a bit tired and sick of it at this point in the process with a new installer. So yeah, very brief setup of our Cascade screen. This is a metre by metre. They also come with a 9x9 and a 12x9, and I haven't done one for about 5 years, so it's going to be an interesting process. You'll see what average competent installer can do with one of these screens. Alright, we'll take a break and get everything out. Alright, so this isn't my favourite screen, I've forgotten, so I'm going to be honest. This screen is it opens on the outer corner, so we have it in our range for a reason, but it does make it a little bit trickier than many of our other screens to put in. The channels that go on the wall, which I've now put in, they are of the chunkier persuasion, which you know, it's like that because it's got more to support, so it's actually got a cross beam in it for a bit more support. It also anchors on inside. The anchor points are inside the channel, off to the side, so you can't actually do it. So you can't actually put it through the channel. So the anchor points are exposed. Now the anchor points are a screw head, like such, and then what you do is you put the screw in like such, and the cap goes over it. So you do end up with a nice chrome cap for the anchor points, but they are exposed, which a lot of people may not like, but that is the way this screen is. We sell it for a purpose. It is what it is, and it is an external opening, opens from the corner, so it gives a bit of flexibility. Not many other suppliers actually now sell that style, and that's why we've kept with it. So yeah, how many times can I say it is what it is? The channels are attached to the outside of the screen and wrapped in plastic to start with. The channels may have the odd mark on them, I note that here, but that is actually covered by the screen that slips over them, not inside the channel. So that's it, so we'll get the next bits out, and the next bits of the actual screen, so we'll keep going with that. Alright, cheers. Alright, so now we've got the screens underway. This screen set is actually the minimums and maximums for the set out are conservative, I would suggest. So the minimum says 965, that's to the extremity, which barely fits into a checked-in base. I've actually found here now that that's a conservative measure. So you do have to stay with that, but you can scrimp yourself an extra 10 mil, I would suggest. But don't hold me to that. So that's just a little helpful tip, but don't hold me to it. We've now put the two screens in place. You can get away with a little bit of movement here in and out on the walls because of the way the panel is, as any competent installer knows. This has a lot of cover, so you can get a lot out of it. So on tiles, a tile wall rather than a base, because we have restrictions with the base size we're using here, so we're actually at a very low limit. So if the wall were out, you could get yourself into trouble. Our walls are pretty straight here as a new display, so we don't have that issue. This is the bracketing system for attaching the metal channels together on the corners. So we take that, we've put one in there. And I'll just show you here again now. If we go up here, that will go in there. It does actually all slip in. Yeah, factory fitted. See, people? Oh, one little hint too. If this is very well packaged, this base, if you just go back out, mate. Now, this base is very well packaged. So when you're getting the packaging off, I'll just get an aside. You all know this, but don't be a idiot like myself and try and cut the packaging off that way and put a scratch on it like I just did. Canary times. Cut it, if you're going to cut packaging, you always cut it on a blind side. But that's the fitting on the edges. So it is that easy. So we put the channels on, screens slide in. We have the external piece. There are 4 screws I'm going to put in now. They're in the packaging here. So screw, 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 screw. It's all, if you come back in, you see that it's all machined out to take it. Yeah, so 4 screws. Screw in there, screw in there. I mean it, they're a snug fit, people. So there you go, snug fit. There's a cover that goes in after. So that's it. Otherwise it's just channels on. What you need to now do is get all this together before you start pegging off any of the channels, which we've got screws supplied, the little screws with caps again to attach the screen set to the channels. But we're going to do this one first and just get these set up. I'm going to run a level over everything and make sure it's right. Then we'll put the screws in the channels. So we'll go and do that. All right, this screen's actually been better than I remember. When I first started, I was a bit flustered, but this screen's actually been very good. We've got these external brackets. They're factory fitted. They slip together. There's guides in there for the screw. This was really easy. We're up to a little bit of a fiddly part, which is the runners come in packets for you. And there's a top and a bottom. It tells you what is what in the instructions, which I haven't really referred to apart from now. I looked. The top one, in this case, the bottom ones have a blue, the top ones have just all steel colour. If that changes, what you will find is that the top ones have got a screw runner through them. The bottom ones have a spring. And that is actually because the top ones will go on the screen and then you can adjust it up and down to get what you want. And then the bottom ones lock it in and they snap in and under. So if you ever need to take the door out, it's spring loaded. You can take the screen out by pushing down on the spring loaded wheels. You do have to put them on. They are actually really, really good and really easy. There's one we did and it took me about 5 minutes to do them all. They're quite intuitive, so you have to visualise what door's going where, because otherwise you'll be putting them on and taking them off a couple of times. So this one here, we know that that door is for here, because I've already set the other one up. So if I spin that around and the wheels have to go on the outside, because they've got to slip into the channels. So I know that the wheels, now I've used the foam and the packaging here, you can see here, so that it's easy for me to get the screen up. So that is my top. this is my bottom, because that's the where the handle goes in. I'm going to do one of the bottom ones first to show you, so I'm going to pick a bottom one, and I'm going to show you that this is not hard. So I take this, I take the cap off. The cap is attached by 2 factory fitting inserts. It comes off. I get my screwdriver. I take that out. You can see there that there is a wrap around the glass screen. They are the wraparound part for the glass screen. So that goes in under and it fixes to it. It's actually quite intuitive. It will go in under, that goes on top. That goes in like so. I tighten to a reasonable level. I make sure it's all lined up. You'll see that it actually fits onto the glass because of the wraparound. So there's not much you can do wrong here. I give him one last tweak. It's toughened glass. I put the cap, I put the full piece of the cap down because that's going to be the bit you see, and this bit here, look, it's all intuitive, this. Look, it is that easy. That is what it is. I'm going to do the next 4 now. Get the doors ready and pop them up and show you how they adjust and everything. One thing I'm going to mention here, see that pile of rubbish? Please screen around, Anthony. That, when you tell us that you can't find certain bits, that is always where they go. They get thrown out. So don't do it, please. We do have spares. We will give you spares. But just look, don't throw any of the rubbish out until you have gone right through and completed the entire installation, because that's always where your bits and pieces go. So yeah, I'm going to now put the doors on. I have to still pin off the channels, which I'll probably do now because I can put a level on it. And we're pretty much good to go. So I'll do that and come back to you in a minute. Alright, so we've got everything on now, and that includes the strips, which have just taken me longer than anything else because they're fiddly and painful. And trim them before you put them on, because otherwise you're going to cut yourself like I just did trying to trim them up. So anyway, that's because I'm a goose. Get everything ready. The doors hang on. So the anti-water strips are here. So one on the frame, one on the door that go against each other that stop any water flowing out through. You'll see there, if you come in, mate. If you see them working against each other when they close up. Now, this is why the top fixing is different to the bottom fixing. So the bottom fixing is spring loaded. So if I want to pop the doors out, I can push them down there and the door will come out. I've put them in. Now, I'll just show you something here. If you come in, this door now, so it's sitting in there. Look, there you go. These are a magnetic closing strip, which is how it's done. And you can see here there's a gap at the bottom up to nothing at the top. Well, that doesn't work. So if I get the drill and go in here, this is how you level up. If I take that up a bit, it's come together a bit. Hang on. One more. There. Okay. Look now. Watch. So it closes and snaps shut. I've still got to fiddle around with it. I'll actually bring this one down, I think, a little bit on that. Yeah, look. Oh, my blood on the screen. Lovely. So that's even made it better. So you just got to adjust until you get them so that they're coming together right. But that's what they are. There's adjustment there, and there, and it moves the doors around. The spring load at the bottom only to stop the screen from popping out. You can see there. If that looks wobbly, it's not particularly. It's a 6mm door, so there's nothing. It's all good. And that's what we've got all done. I don't think there's anything else to mention. I've still got to put the caps on all the screws and that, and I haven't fixed it off yet. I've left it till now before I actually fix the channels, the screen into the channels, which I'll do now. Clean it up, make sure everything's in line, and off we go.